welcome to our Plugs Community Connection. I am your host, DJ Kitty Cat, with my sister co-host, Miss Morningstar on WKRA 92.7 FM The Change. If you're looking for the best in news, current events, community outreach programs, and shopping connections, you've come to the right place. We've got a great mix of content and community connections lined up for you this evening, along with special guest interviews. So, grab your favorite drink of choice, turn up the volume, and let's get into it.
Good morning, WKRA 92.7 The Change. It's your morning host, DJ Kitty, here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar from Our Plugs, the Community Connection. We are here bright and early this morning to give you news you can use and some good talking points, as well as some inspiration to get us through the week. Another week, another day to be alive. What a time to be alive. Good morning, Miss Morningstar. How are you?
Good morning. Good morning. Good Monday morning. Wow.
Yeah.
We saying that already?
Again,
Where did the weekend go?
I don't know. Can I get a refund? Can I get a refund on the
a
weekend?
redo on the weekend.
Yes.
Wow.
A refund, a redo, a do-over, all of that.
Wow.
I hope your weekend was pleasant and relaxed.
It was.
That's good.
It wasn't bad at all.
Did you finish your closet?
Negative, but
Negative.
I got a lot done.
That's you so, a little bit at a time.
That's an accomplishment in itself.
Yes, a little bit at a time.
Yes.
Our listening family out there at WKRA out in Holly Springs and in Memphis, Tennessee, good morning. And to all those that are listening on YouTube and in the chat, good morning, everybody. So Miss Morningstar is doing it clean, and I think April is a good time to start cleaning out your closets and
it is.
Planting your flowers and planting your plants and your produce for the spring and the summer. And it's a good time. I finished my closet 2 weeks ago, and it took me 2 days, and I was in tears one of those days because why do I have all this? And this is what I'm giving away. I don't care. I can't take it no more.
See, my problem is I have multiple closets.
Me too. That's the problem.
It's like I did worked on the one. Now I need to go into the other closets and figure it out. So
yeah. So, but those are easy problems to have. We will figure it out. It's an easy solution. Start cleansing. Makes you feel better. Plus, it makes me feel really good to give some of the clothes away that I have. There's no sense in holding on to it. Some things I'm like, I'm going to get into this. I promise. Girl, let that go. Let it go. Somebody else can enjoy it. But
I'm going to get in it.
Yeah, I've got.
No, some things I have decided I'm going to let go, but
let go.
We gotta let go.
Let go and let God is what they say. Let go and let God. Well, before we start our show, we start every morning with the morning affirmation, and we get that from our affirmation queen, Mrs. Morningstar. Ms. Morningstar brings us these words of encouragement every day, and I'm so thankful. So with that being said, Ms. Morningstar, take it away.
Okay, guys. So good morning, WKRA and our radio world. Let's get into some morning affirmations. So this one is a health and morning affirmation. Health is one of our most important things in life. And we can, we want to make sure that we start off our week in a healthy manner, even feeding our brain healthy thoughts. Sometimes we don't realize how important it can be and how it will affect you in your daily moving in your journey. So let's cover some of these affirmations. I am grateful for a new day and committed to nurturing my body health. I am a source of love and vibrant energy, blessing my body with well being. I am strong, resilient, and capable of healing my body. I honor and listen to my body, unique needs for optimal well being. Today, I choose action that supports and nourishes my body. I embrace restful sleep, allowing it to revitalize both my body and mind. I release tension, inviting relaxation and healing into my body. I'm in perfect balance, caring for both my physical and emotional health. I am guided to make choices that deeply support my body's well being. I radiate positive energy, attracting experiences that enhance my health. I am open to receive the resources and support my body's needs for its vitality. Each day, I grow stronger, healthier, embracing my body's health journeys, treating my body as a sacred temple, forcing well being and harmony within, trusting in the wisdom of my body, natural healing process, and its capacity to renew. Starting each day with love and gratitude, honoring the miracles of my body, I engage in actions that nourish and care for my body's well being. I connect with abundant healing energy within me. I extend, I attract experiences and people that contribute positivity to my health and well being. I am grateful and resilient and strengthen my body processes. I affirm my body's health and validity. Validity. I'm sorry, guys. I'm kind of coughing in between. So, but that was awesome, right?
That was awesome, and I love it. Um, I know that,
Refreshing, y'all.
yeah, I know that they say speak it into existence. So if you are walking around saying the negative, then that's what's going to happen. But speak love onto your body because, we all deal with body issues and it's
Yes.
body dysmorphia. And, you want to say, regardless of the dimples and the stretch marks and all that, I am blessed to have the body that I'm in. It could be worse. Could be
Yeah.
better. That means more exercise and eating properly. But
Love
it
the skin
always could
you're
be,
in.
yes, could be
That's
worse.
our thing.
Love
Love
the
the
skin you're
skin you're
in.
in. Take care of it. Treat it
Yes.
the best you
Treat
can.
like a temple.
Yeah,
Your body is your temple. So treat it well and it'll treat you well.
it will. Yeah,
What you do today will determine where you will be tomorrow. And that's either
absolutely.
at home enjoying life and watching your grandkids, grow, or in somebody's hospital room. So I choose to live. I choose to live. So today, let's hop into this weather. It is hot. Welcome to the heat. 90 degrees today in Holly Springs.
Woo! Holly Springs.
Y'all getting it.
Where them
Look,
fans at?
okay, get a fan now. A low of 69, partly cloudy winds coming out of the south at 5 to 10 miles per hour. In Memphis, it is 80 degrees today with a low of 71, partly cloudy winds coming out of the south, 10 to 15 miles per hour. And in hot Houston, 83 degrees, low of 73, cloudy winds coming out of the south southeast at 15 to 20 miles per hour.
All right.
Also did a little digging, and the mosquito risk in Holly Springs is medium. The mosquito risk in Memphis is severe, and the mosquito risk in Texas, in Houston, Texas, is high. And this is due to all that rain that we got. The rain brings on the mosquitoes. It nourishes our plants. It nourishes, to me, it replenishes and nurtures the earth, but it also breeds mosquitoes. So if you see standing water, go ahead and pour that out. That is their breeding ground. Invest in some, some
Some repellent because
repellent. Yeah.
mosquitoes can be dangerous.
Yeah.
So
Toxic. in
Yes.
some cases. So be careful out there, especially for your youngsters. The kids, I know it's hot and let them go play, especially in the evening time, but put them on a cool long sleeve shirt and long pants because those mosquitoes tear them babies up. And
Mm-hmm.
as for the allergens, okay, so Holly Springs, your allergen, you have a very high tree pollen count. Memphis, again, very high tree pollen count. And in Houston, we have a high tree and grass pollen count. So, yeah, if you have to be outdoors for a long, extended period of time, and you have breathing issues, go ahead and grab you a mask so you can breathe. Um, it's spring, so this is what happens in the spring. This is nothing new. This is nothing unheard of. This is just what we have to deal with, and better to be in the know than not. So do what's necessary so that you will be okay. And that's about it. We're gonna hop right into news. Breaking news you can use. It was pretty quiet over the weekend with the administration, thank goodness. Probably because, he was across the
Yeah, I
water
was gonna say he was sleeping across
at the funeral. He was
at the
asleep
pier,
at the funeral and
taking him a
chewing
nap.
gum. Taking a nap at the funeral, chewing gum, and playing on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
The disrespect.
Wearing the
Yeah.
blue suit,
Wearing a blue suit with everyone else was in
and
black.
everybody
Why,
had on black
why
because that
do
was the color that you're
but
supposed to wear.
we don't even have to ask why. We know why. Some people are attention seekers. So that he needed the attention. Him and was that his wife that he was with? I don't know. It looked. I don't know. I don't know if that was what's her name? Melania, melanoma, What's the lady's name? Miss Morningstar. Is it Melania or melanoma? It's Melania. Yeah, yeah. He was there with
Melanoma.
yeah. I always get it confused because
Yeah,
it's about
I
the
can't get it
same.
right. Yeah, I thought. Well, allegedly he was there with her, but allegedly it could have been her stunt double. I don't know, y'all. I'm
I
just
don't
hearing.
know.
It's the
It looked
news. We just be
very.
hearing stuff.
Yeah, we do hear stuff, and when I was looking at the picture, her face just looks very strong with a K.
Yeah,
Strong.
it was strong. So
Yeah,
I'm not sure,
that jawline.
what's happening here, but
Yeah, yeah.
it looked very
So,
suspect. Y'all go watch it. Go look at NBC News or something.
you know,
Pull it up.
uh,
They got the pictures.
they got the pictures. You can go on any social media platform. The pictures are there. She looked, she was in
Y'all
that
come with
all
y'all
black.
own opinions.
At least she was in all black instead of a jacket that
She
says
followed. She did
out.
follow the rules.
Yeah, she did follow the rules. She didn't, I couldn't imagine being in her shoes because I have a wonderful husband, but I guess whatever.
Somebody who
I
just intentionally breaks the rules, and at your old age,
too old for that. That
at your
was
old
that
age.
was a missed opportunity for
Mm.
some belt to
Ah,
behind training.
yeah.
I know that his approval ratings are the lowest it's ever been for any president.
Where he at, sis?
People aren't approving. I don't know where he's at. What it's at 41. I read somewhere it was like 35, but someone told me
Ooh,
Bunny just told me 41, so it's
that's
low.
awful.
That is
First 100
awful.
days almost. Wow, that's probably the lowest.
I'm just trying to see what's the one positive thing that he's done this first 100 days. I mean, on Friday they deported a 2, 4, and 7-year-old U.S. citizens with their mothers back to. Did they take them to Honduras? I think they went to Honduras.
Honduras, I think.
Yeah.
And these babies are from here.
Yeah, they're U.S. citizens, but he said that they need to leave with their parents. So I guess they're not. They've done away with anchor babies. Well, when is Melania gonna? She's getting deported
I mean,
because
time is ticking.
and Elania, they both are they're not U.S. citizens.
Yeah, their time should be up. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. I'm just curious.
Mm.
Um, I know Rubio, he was pressed about those children that were deported with their mothers, and of course he didn't have too much to say. When do they ever? They never have anything, productive or
I came across a video of him and he seemed real defensive, angry. Why
they
they
are
so
all trying to
angry? Why
defend
they so
themselves.
angry? I just wonder, listening audience, I mean, can y'all think about it like you won the election?
Why are
You
y'all so
got the
mad?
job.
Why
Now
so
people
mad?
are going to question you about the job when things seem to be not right. You have to be prepared to answer the questions.
It's just a question.
It's just a question.
You don't have to be upset about it. People have the right
Not an attitude.
to ask the questions. I will say this. In 2026, all House representative seats are up for grabs, all of them. So I suggest that these people who want to stay in government, they may want to start answering questions and maybe working for the American people instead of working for the billionaires and the millionaires and billionaires and Trump's buddies. They may want to actually do their job if they want to keep their job. But that's just me. Maybe that's just me being, you know, um, proactive, trying to understand how people can have jobs when they aren't actually doing anything that's for the people or by the people. They're doing it all for the billionaires and millionaire friends. When you look at it like that, you have to ask yourself, what's really going on? You were elected to represent people, not
Right.
corporations and billionaires. But so you guys take that to heart, and we're going to start. I suggest you guys start checking to make sure you are registered to vote. Keep checking that every month. And if you're not, go and talk to your county board officials to make sure that you are
Yeah.
back on the register. I know that they're talking about women who are married. We have to show a birth certificate, but one of the judges struck that down
Oh.
as far as not just that part, but as far
Mm-hmm.
as them trying to change election rules. They struck it down.
Mm-hmm.
I read that on Friday, but we shall see. They had a judge arrested on Friday, so it's so much, so much. And then in Holly Springs and Mississippi altogether, you guys, there is a huge recall on 170,000 bottles of apple juice in Mississippi. This is Martintelli's apple juice. It's got a contaminated with a toxin component. It's called patulin, Patulin. It's a mycotoxin. Um, don't drink or lemon. I'm sorry. Don't drink apple juice right now if it is made by Martini. Wait a minute. Martin Ellis. Okay, apple juice. I'm probably saying that wrong because I don't know this brand, but be careful, my family in Mississippi, when picking out your apple juice. We want to make sure that you guys are safe, and just know that there is also um, this administration has done away with regulations, including food regulations. So milk will no longer be tested to see if it's drinkable.
Mm. Mm-mm.
And there's all kinds of things that they have to strip out of milk. And there was one, years ago, there was one company that got sued, and they faced some hardships with the government because they were putting chalk in milk to keep the color white. Chalk, CHALK. So be
Oh,
very
wow.
careful, people. Listen to your Amy. Don't, you know, we have no
Wow.
regulations now. We have an
Wow.
administration that doesn't care if citizens get sick from, eating and digesting things that are undigestible. So,
Wow.
yeah, pretty crazy. What do you have, sis? What's going on?
Well, and some relatively good sports news. Let's talk
Yeah,
about some sports very quick.
yes.
So, shooters, what's his name?
Should do.
Shador Sanders was selected by the Cleveland Browns after falling into the fifth round of NFL draft. So kudos to my
I thought it was
hometown.
third round. I
It's the
thought he
fifth.
got.
It was the fifth round. He was in the fifth. He shouldn't have been in the fifth round. It was the fifth round. I pulled it up. Um, Here's the story. This young man's father is Deion Sanders. We know Deion Sanders. Everybody know Deion Sanders. He was a good football player back in his day. He's a coach for Colorado. He talk a lot. His son is very confident in his sport. He's been doing this his entire life. He's a quarterback. He's been doing football his entire life. I want my young black men to keep on with that confidence.
Yes, stay confident.
Do not let anybody tell you you are not great, because the comments I read, from some racist people, he thinks he's great. Who told him he could feel this way?
We
you
did.
have to earn it. This is a repetitive word. These are repetitive comments that we have heard throughout time about how great we're supposed to be. And I'm here to tell you guys, Morningstar is here to tell you, you great from birth.
Okay.
And you keep speaking that truth into yourself about how great you are. You hold your head high and you speak with confidence. I don't care if you mess up on the throw. You are still the greatest. And you should exhort that. And you should boast about your talent.
Yep.
And that's what the NFL should be ashamed of themselves.
Yeah,
this boy was supposed to be like one of the first picks.
He should have been, but they call themselves making an example because he's
two.
But other players, when their sons come out, it's not a problem.
It's not a problem, right?
It's not a problem. But because it's a black man,
Deion Sanders.
Deion Sanders, son, you want to, but that's fine. I would suggest, I know what I'm going to do, because when people show you who they are, you believe them.
Yeah.
I will not be giving the NFL any of my money. I will go to these players. I will go directly to their website and buy their gear. Mm-hmm. I'm not buying it from the NFL. Mm-hmm. Since you guys want to be ugly, well then don't think you're going to have my money. And if there's a jersey that I want or my grandsons want, I will go directly to those players so they can make that money, and the NFL won't. We showed Target. NFL, are you on next?
They need to be. I mean, the agony that they put this young man through, who has worked his whole life for this opportunity. They did it on purpose and was doing it just to be malicious towards his father, because they had beef, and they should be ashamed of themselves. You don't take your beef with somebody's parent out on that kid. That kid worked for what he earned. He should have not had to go through that.
No. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll come back. I know you've got another story.
Yeah.
And we can follow up on this as well, but you're listening to WKRA 92.7 The Change. I'm your host, DJ Kitty. I'm here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar from Our Plugs, the Community Connection. We'll be right back after this quick commercial break.
Hey guys, guess what? I got something to show you. Boom, 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 bam. You like what you see? This is from Morningstar Boutique. Yes, beautiful, nice and thick, comfy, and it fits. So if you like this sweater, you got to go to All Plugs and scroll down with Morningstar Boutique, and you gotta get yours, because I got mine. You better go get yours, because it might run out fast. So if you like this sweater, go to ourplugs, ourplugs.com, scroll down and hit Morningstar Boutique and get yours. Yes, this is from a black powerful woman to another powerful black woman. So yeah, we moving on. Go get yours so we all can be warm. Okay? God bless.
Let's be real. Being a woman means juggling everything. Careers, families, goals, and somehow our health ends up last on the list. But what if your wellness came first? At Nutrition You Design, we believe healthy living shouldn't be complicated. From custom meal plans to one-on-one coaching and specialized lab testing, we're here to help you fuel your body and feel amazing every day. It's not about dieting, it's about thriving. It's about energy, balance, confidence, you. So if you're ready to feel stronger, healthier, and in control of your nutrition, let's do this together. Contact Nutrition You Design today and design a healthier you.
Feel your heart.
Hello, my name is Robin, and I'm out here helping Carter's Caring Hands, and I also work the food pantry with them. It's an excellent place where people can come get out some food. I was homeless, and I've gave myself to the Lord, and I'm out here helping anybody I can help. So if you need help or prayer, just stop by. We'll pray with you and help you out. In Jesus' name, God bless.
And I'd like you to do one more thing for me. Hold up 2 fingers. This is you, and this is me, and the space that exists between us should be filled with value.
Equal, a global human initiative, and its value identity model.
And we are back. You are listening to WKRA 92.7 The Change. I'm your morning host, DJ Kitty, here with my co-host, Miss Morningstar. And today we are focusing in on our health and our wellness. But before we get into that, Miss Morningstar, did you have another story you wanted to talk about?
So I came across a story of with Candace Owens, Candace Owens, aka Candace Owens, who was an avid supporter of Trump, finally speaks out against his administration. Just so y'all know, we don't care.
We do not.
But I'm gonna read it anyway. But we do not care, Candace. Known as a very strong Trump supporter, most of you have heard of her. She had comments, and she was not pleased with how his approach was towards Harvard. She agreed with Harvard's lawsuit. She urges her followers to support Harvard in its legal battle, saying the issue extends beyond politics and is the core of American rights, and we cannot allow our rights to be infringed upon. Oh, really, Candace?
You said her name right.
Really? I just find it ironic for her to say those words out of her mouth after all the hateful things she said against our community. I don't receive your message, and I know you might be listening in. And
Candace, if you in here, come to the front of the room.
Yeah, you need to have a seat at the front of class.
Front and center. You're still not welcome. You said what you said. You basically called us all types of names this entire election season. Not even just this election season. Ever since that white demon started running.
Yes.
Okay? Ever since he started running, you have talked so ugly about the Black community and so ugly about Black people. We don't care to hear anything that you have to say, so save it. We don't care to hear it. Candace, go tell MAGA. See if the problem is now MAGA has rejected you, and you think you can come back over here, but the door is locked, and we changed the code. You're not welcome. You cannot get back in. No, it's a complete sentence.
Shut. Key is gone.
No, it's a complete sentence. I don't even care to hear anything. I don't even listen to her. Anytime I see her come across my
Yeah, I
timeline,
don't listen to her.
I've
It just
never
happened to
listened
be
to.
her article was in blacknews.com, and I'm like, this is interesting. So let's see what she, and really it's not interesting. It's just one of those things like, really, where are you
Really?
trying to make your way back to?
No.
You gotta
And
correct a whole lot within yourself before
a whole lot.
you think that you are going to be welcomed back into this community.
No, it's a complete sentence. I mean,
No, it's a
you
complete sentence.
don't bite the hand that feeds you. When she
Mm-hmm.
sued that college because she said that they were discriminating against her, the NAACP came and they stood behind Candace, and she won her lawsuit. Now you got somehow your mind,
Amnesia.
convenient selective amnesia. You somehow forgot that you were a black woman who had been discriminated against, and instead of you being on the right side of history and standing with your sisters in 92%, you decided to go and butt dance and tap
Mm-hmm.
dance for
It's a
white
choice.
supremacy.
Tell them.
A disgrace.
It is a
Girl,
choice, y'all.
go
It
away.
is a choice. And
Go
when you
away.
make that choice, you got to lay in that choice. You
Yeah,
got
you
to
make
lay
your
there
bed.
and burn, as my boy Zeus say. Lay down and burn.
Yeah, you decided that that's where you wanted to be. You even said Kamala's not black. Girl, you're not black. How about that? It's ridiculous, but
Yeah.
that's what they do. And now
It
that
always
her
come back, y'all.
yeah, now that her well has ran dry, and now that all of MAGA is mad at her, and she's not invited to anything now, and now her and Roseanne Barr are beefing, or whoever else,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
always beefing with somebody because these are the most unhappiest people on the planet.
Most argumentative people ever.
Okay, and now you want to come over here bothering us? No, thank you. No, thank you. No,
Start a black
please,
folk business, please.
stay.
Anyway.
Yes, because you're not welcome. Anywho. Yeah, Candace. Let's go ahead and jump into our topic for today, which is very important.
Yes.
I know a lot of people deal with diabetes, either they're pre-diabetic or they have diabetes. So let's go ahead and bring our sister on stage,
All
Gail
right, let's
Thorpe. We
get
call
her
her
up
Bunny,
here.
and bring her on up, and let's hop into it. We've got some topics to talk about. These are
Yeah.
important topics. Good morning, Gail.
Good morning to my beautiful sisters, as always. How are you guys doing this beautiful Monday morning?
Doing well.
Great.
Doing well. How about yourself? How are you?
I'm doing good. I always have my tea here to make sure I'm doing well. So I love drinking my tea. My sister said I should be in London because I drink so much tea. Probably so. The way things are going now, I probably would do better in London, I
Yeah,
think.
Yeah.
probably. All of us would.
Won't we all?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So
Well,
what's
yes.
that?
We're gonna go ahead and dig into our topic. As you know, guys, I'm winding down the National Minority Month, which is the month of April. I can't even believe that we're almost out of April. Can you believe that? Like,
No,
time is just flying.
no,
Flying by.
I don't know if I like that too much, but it's
I
going.
don't.
I don't like it at all, actually. It's going by a little bit too much. But so I hello good everyone out there and our listeners. As you know, I'm Gail Thorpe. I'm your resident functional nutritionist. If you want to know a little bit about that, that's a person who actually goes and digs deep into what's going on, like a detective. So we're a little bit different than your average nutritionist. And so I love the work that I do. And one of the things that I love doing is teaching about, especially to our community, of things that we need to focus in on. So tonight, or I'm sorry, this morning, we're going to talk about two things, and one would be diabetes. Now, that's something, unfortunately, that's pretty prevalent in our community. And we have two types. We have, of course, type 1. That's something that you're born with. So your body is just not producing or it doesn't make insulin. And unfortunately, you will be living with that for the rest of your life, unfortunately. It's often diagnosed in children and young adults. And then we have the type 2 one. Now, that's the one that when you hear people most of the time, that's the one that they have, where your body is not using the insulin very well and is causing high blood sugar. So it's definitely more so common in adults. But there is also one that sometimes can happen when a woman is pregnant. It's just gestational diabetes. Now, that happens during the pregnancy, and it usually goes away after pregnancy. So I know that when you ladies were, I'm hoping that that never happened to either one of you guys. Did you ever experience any of those things when you were pregnant?
Fortunately, no, no.
Yes,
Yeah,
fortunately, no.
I
But
did
my
not.
niece did. I had a
Okay.
niece who had diabetes while she was pregnant with a couple of her kids. But it did go away once she had her babies. And I guess my question would be, why is it because you're pregnant and your insulin level raises because you're pregnant?
Yeah, yeah, because
Oh.
of the hormones.
Mm,
Yeah, so that definitely can happen. So you have to be so careful, and it's definitely high in our community.
yeah.
Um, we're kind of digging a little bit into some of the reasons of how come people get diabetes. I used to actually run a CDC program for diabetes in New Jersey, diabetes prevention actually, and I was one of the few that were chosen to run the program. And it's very sad, and a lot of the people that I mean, anyone was welcome to join this program, but it was a lot of people of color. So it's definitely something that we have to address. So genetics definitely plays a role. Family history, that definitely increases your risk. Of course, your lifestyle, poor diet, low physical activity, and if you're obese, which is definitely a major contribution. So you want to make sure and check to make sure that you're not, your BMI is not too high. And you also, a risk factor increases after 45, which is interesting. It's like when once we start getting older, here we go, we start falling
Fall
apart.
apart. Baby.
we start,
Is
we start falling.
45 the magic number?
It's, I think it's like the
Yeah,
magic number
I'm
for
it
just
is.
most.
like, what in the world?
It's going
I know.
on.
Yeah, it is pretty much the, it's funny because clients that come to me, and they're, I have different age groups, but the thing is, usually when they're like 45 and up, and now they're like, how come I'm having these problems? Well, it's their lifestyle. When they were younger, it kind of it kind of hibernates a little bit, and then it comes out when you hit that magic number, as Miss Morningstar said, that 45, it hits that. I mean, it can happen too in your late 30s, but I do see a lot of that in 45, 46. They're like, oh my God. So, yeah, your lifestyle does play a role on how you treated yourself when you were younger. It starts to come out when you're older. And high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and stress. We talked about that last week on Monday. We talked about high blood pressure and stress. So again, these are things that hit our community. So with the Black community, it's like 13% of Black adults in the United States have been diagnosed with diabetes. Now that is not good.
Very.
Not good at all. So we're talking like 60% more likely to be diagnosed than any like non-Hispanic or Caucasian. And we're twice as likely to suffer complications like kidney disease, blindness, amputations. We definitely deal with a lot of social economic factors, including food access, healthcare disparities, and stress plays a major role. Because a lot of times when we have diabetes, we may not have insurance.
Mhm.
Diabetes, even when you have insurance, you're talking about an extra 3,000 to 4,000 a year that you have to pay just for the things to help you stay alive, whether it be extra medicines or any kind of medical supplies that you may need. So diabetes is extremely expensive,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately. Some of the signs to let you know that you may want to take a look at definitely going to the doctor is having frequent urination, being extremely thirsty or hungry, fatigue, blurred vision, and then cuts and bruises that actually are not healing very quickly. They're healing very slow. You may experience tingling or numbness in your hands and your feet. You may have unexplained weight loss. Okay, so you want to take a look at all of those things. If you're experiencing it, you guys hear me say often, sometimes those symptoms that I just mentioned could be linked to something else. A lot of these symptoms kind of they all like conjugate together. So you want to make sure you can't be sure about anything. So you want to make sure that if you experience any of that, that you go to see your doctor to make sure that you can rule out any kind of diabetes. So you want to aim for protection and prevention. And that is, you want to definitely stay active. You want to keep moving. And I always advocate for aim for 30 minutes of moderate activity. It could be walking and dancing. We've discussed this many times now. 5 days a week is fine. Take off the weekends. It does not have to be every single day. You do not have to do, 3 or 4 hours every single day. 30 minutes is enough to get yourself healthy. If your goal is to lose weight, it can do that as well. You want to make sure that you maintain a healthy weight. Get your regular checkups, especially if you have a family history or some of the other risk factors that I talked about. You definitely want to make sure that you stay in a healthy weight. And if you're not sure about that, see your nutritionist, see your doctor, and they can let you know what weight you should be at. Manage your stress. That is so important. Once again, we're living in a highly stressful time, and it's very important that we try to manage our stress. Chronic stress will affect your blood sugar levels. So constantly being stressed out over time. And when I say stress, I'm talking chronic stress, meaning that it's lasting longer than a day or two or a week or a month. It's constant. We all have stress. You have stress at work. You may have stress at school. And those things can happen. And that's okay. Your body is very strong. It's pretty strong. It can handle that. But if you're constantly stressed every single day, every single week, every single month, that's a problem. That's when we're looking into it affecting your blood sugar levels. So you want to manage that stress. When we talk about um, some more prevention for diabetes, we want to talk about nutrition. So here we are again with our leafy greens, spinach, kale, whole grains. You want to do quinoa or brown rice or oats. You want to have your lean proteins like chicken, fish, and beans. You want to do your healthy fats, avocados, nuts, olive oil. You want to do fruits, but you want to do that in moderation, your fruits, because fruit can have sugar in it too. Berries are better because berries are not as sugary. And you have a question for me?
I do. I have
Okay.
two questions. When you mention fruit, okay.
Uh-huh.
When's the best time to eat fruit? Because I know in the evenings, you're gonna eat, and if you eat, say, grapes, and it has natural sugars, but that
Uh-huh.
sugar can also that sugar turns to fat. So
Right.
when's the best time to actually eat? In the morning?
Yes, because when you think about it with the fruits, you definitely have to be careful with them because it, like you mentioned about the sugar, right? So you want to do that in moderation. Now, berries is low in sugar, as you can tell when you taste it. It doesn't really it doesn't really have that much sugar, just a little hint of sugar. But you want to do like your I would say any kind of fruit. You want to do like around either morning or the afternoon would be good.
And then my second, thank you, Bunny. And then my
Sure.
second question is, I know that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had changed, had made it possible for um, people with diabetes to actually be able to buy their insulin for $35. Did he
Right.
change that? I can't remember.
He did. He did. So now they're going to be paying more money. I heard someone say that, and like I was just saying a few minutes ago, that it is very expensive, even when you have insurance. So that's why with Joe Biden and Kamala, what they did was so people were just elated because that helped a lot because that medicine can be very expensive. But yeah, it's now you're talking 85 and up. And that can be pretty steep because if you're a diabetic, you're going to need your medicine often. So imagine getting it refilled, every 2 weeks or so. But yeah, they're paying some serious money now, which I feel so bad about.
Yeah, and excuse me, what was the point of that? Because these people were being able to live, and it's frustrating when you really think about it, that something that we need in order to actually survive, they have raised the price back up. The pharmaceutical companies lived with that $35, but out of pure greed, they raised the prices back up. That's just one more reason. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it wasn't. It really wasn't a reason to do that.
No.
To be very honest, because you want to make it as affordable for everybody. It does hit our communities the most, so that's a pretty tough one there. So yeah, and I'm saying in the low end, but they're paying probably like, 150, 200,
I know someone that pays
$300.
about $300 a month,
Yeah,
for
yeah,
insulin. And
yeah.
a friend of my daughter's, he ran out of insulin and he just couldn't afford it, and he did pass away. Yeah.
See, and the sad part is that that's what I was seeing when I was running the diabetes prevention program for the CDC, because people were actually when I got to them, and it was a group session, and they had already been living with it, and there were several people that just said they don't care. They don't
Wow.
care anymore. Yeah, they didn't want to take the medicine. They just, it was too expensive, and that's why they wanted to take the program. But at this point, they were so far gone, and with them not wanting to listen to what they needed to do, it really wasn't helping them. So yeah, I had several people that were very upset because they were paying so much money.
Yeah.
And they couldn't afford it, which, so yeah, I hate that. It bothers me because it was such a good thing that they had did, and didn't last that long. It would have lasted longer if certain things didn't happen the way it did, as we know. So
Yeah. If we weren't let down the way that we were by people voting for the wrong person.
Decepticons.
Yes, wrong person. But it's right at time to take a break. We will be right back. Let's take a quick commercial break. You're listening to 92.7 The Change. We will be right back after this quick commercial.
Timeless elegance. Redefine class. Welcome to Morningstar Boutique by Tam, where fashion at its finest, fashion that brings out your inner cuteness, and styles that make you go, oh girl, where you get that from? Check me out at www.morningstarboutique.com or at ourplugsllc.com. Can't wait to see you.
Opal May Simplistic Beauty is hair care and skincare in a bottle. Take a quick survey and let us design your own formula. Go to ourplugs.com, look for Opal May Simplistic Beauty, and we can get your formula out to you as soon as possible. We hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to a world that sparkles. Sparkle Kicks LLC is your one-stop shop for a wide variety of customized items. So bling out your Crocs, Customize that cutting board. Get you custom dominoes. Stop by and we will customize your order today. We can be found on Etsy and Our Plugs LLC. I'll be waiting to customize your order. All you need to do is place it.
Hi, I'm Tori G, owner and founder of Say Something Tees, a statement t-shirt company. I got into this business by mistake, but the mission was no accident. As a Black female-owned brand, we do more than just sell shirts. We make statements. Our designs spark conversation, sometimes shady, sometimes in your face, but always bold. From the 92% collection, honoring Black women who always show up, to Dear Black Woman, a love letter to our strength and resilience. Our tees empower, uplift, and keep it real. Because at Say Something Tees, we believe your shirt should speak before you do. Shop Black-owned, shop with a purpose. Find us at www.saysomething.biz and let's say something together.
And we are back. You are listening to Our Plugs, the Community Connection on WKRA 92.7. It is a beautiful day to be alive, and today we are discussing with our sister, Gail Thorpe, our resident nutritionist. We are discussing diabetes and best practices. So go ahead, Gail. Go ahead and pick up where you left off at, honey. I think we're at berries.
Yes. So basically, just go back again. When it comes down to eating the fruits, you want to do it in moderation. And if you really enjoy fruit so often, I definitely would stick with berries because it's less sugar in the berries. And you want to try to eat that more so morning time, lunchtime, make it around those times. Okay, you want to also limit sugary drinks like sodas and sweet teas. I know we love sweet teas a lot of times, and we want to take that out our diet. We want to take out our diet processed foods like fried foods, refined carbs like white breads and pastries, and portion control is key. That's the other thing, portion control, because sometimes we can have some pretty high plates and of food, okay? And you definitely you want to be careful with that because you're like, oh, I'm doing the right thing. But if you pile on the plate there, it may not be the right thing. So if you're not sure about your portion control, you can always they have plates that they sell. Different stores, Amazon. Even though I don't want to talk too much about Amazon right now, but but they do have different type of portion control plates that you can actually buy that you can portion everything that you're eating, including your fruits. And I definitely suggest that for people who are just starting out and not really sure how to go about this. You want to go ahead and try that. Because that is definitely key. You want to make sure and balance your carbs because carbs are in everything. Everything. When we look, if you really pay attention to looking and reading the labels, guys, carbs are in everything. And then people wonder, well, how did I end up with my belly and how did I end up, gaining this extra bloat weight? It's your carbs. Okay? So you want to watch that.
Even fruit. Carbs are in fruit.
That's
like
right.
Bananas high in carbs.
That's right. Yeah, you definitely want to make sure and watch your carbs because that's something that can sneak on you before you realize it.
Yeah.
And if you want to do it, you want to balance it with some type of protein or healthy fats will help to avoid the sugar spikes in case you do get a little out of control there. So definitely with diabetes, again, that is something that's high in our community. And these are just some helpful tips that I hope that you guys will take into consideration and really, really, really take it serious. Because if you do have some of those risk factors, hereditary and things I mentioned, you want to definitely be tested because it's something that is not fun to deal with. And it could last you your lifetime if you don't take care of yourself.
Yeah. I see a lot of people with that monitor on their arm now, and that's pretty new. That came out a couple years ago, didn't it?
It did. Yeah, it did. They're trying, for me, my goal is really like, dealing with your lifestyle, dealing with your diet, so that you don't even have to have that on your arm. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, I know sometimes you have no other choice, but the thing is that type 2, you can't do anything with type 1. You're born with that. But type 2, you can reverse that by just the things I just mentioned. But you have to be serious about reversing it. You don't want to be like, okay, I can just eat whatever I want. I don't have to do any exercising. I'm going to stress myself out to no tomorrow. No, those are things that's going to definitely make sure it stays there, right? And you're going to, of course, be on medication, but just keep in mind that medication has side effects. I
Yeah.
would never tell someone not to take medicine, because that's not what I do. I want you to take your medicine, but do you want to be on medicine for the rest of your life? Wouldn't it be much simpler to just get yourself together?
Yeah. I see that monitor, and I wish that they had a monitor for, maybe me speaking it'll come out, for high blood pressure. Because if you had a monitor, like I know someone who has one of those monitors on their arms, and when their
Mhm.
sugar is escalated or elevated,
Mhm.
whatever, they
Mhm.
are warned on their phone. They get the notification. Well,
Yes.
I think that they need to do the same thing for people with high blood pressure and hypertension, so that they can monitor it better. It would really help those who are struggling with that.
I
So
think
It
that's
would.
hopefully,
a great idea because they say it's a silent killer.
it
So
is a silent killer.
with
So if
that,
they had
Yes.
at
that
least
monitor
people will get
on,
warning that.
yes,
Yeah, high blood pressure, hypertension is definitely a silent killer, because the reason why they say that is because sometimes you have no symptoms.
yeah.
You really
But
don't.
well, you may not have any symptoms. Like sometimes you don't realize your blood pressure is high until you
Right.
take it.
Until you take it.
Until you
But
take it.
sometimes people don't have home monitors
Yeah.
to even
Right.
take it, right? So they don't know. They don't know that they have high blood pressure. Now, sometimes if you know your body, you can sometimes feel something's off. But
Yeah, you can
not
feel the tightness
everybody,
in your head.
That's why it would be
yeah.
good to have a self
That
device,
monitor.
you
It
know,
would be good. Maybe
Maybe
you
I'll
should.
reach out to a pharmacist, whoever makes that
pharmaceutical
monitor
company.
for diabetes, and ask, are they going to make one for people with hypertension? Because that would save lives, a lot of lives. Because when
It
that
sure
beep
would.
goes off, I'm either taking an additional blood pressure pill, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go to the hospital. And not
Right.
just, because a lot of people will just go, I'm not feeling well, they not realizing that their blood pressure is up, and they'll go lay down, and they'll pass away in their sleep. They'll have a heart attack in their sleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna reach out to the pharmaceutical companies and say, hey, I think you guys need to do what, nothing beats failure but a try. They can only say yes or
They
no.
can only say yes or no. But I think it's an awesome idea.
I
And
do.
just think, if they did that, I knew you win.
Yeah. Well,
I,
girl,
this is gonna be making all this money, and she's not gonna know us.
girl. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm just giving them the idea. Look, I don't have the wherewithal. I don't even know how to, I'm not scientifically astute like that. However,
Mhm.
I do come up with, I think it's a need. So
But it would be
now
your
they can pay
idea, and they
me.
need to. That's what I was gonna say. It's your idea, and they would need to pay you
I was just about
for
to
it.
say that. Yeah, I'm gonna need my what they say, my 30%,
Yeah, look, it's a
my
good thing that this is
40%.
being recorded, so I can take it to court. Yes, on April 2025, I mentioned it, and they was
April
listening.
27th.
They were listening, and they took my idea.
Time
Pay me.
stamp it.
That's right.
Pay me.
We are your witnesses. We know.
We are all 9 or 10 of us up in here.
That's
Exactly.
right.
And
That's
then
right.
those that are listening in the radio land, you guys heard me. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I really do think that would be a great asset to, the world, not just a specific person, because
Yes.
everybody it's subject to have a heart attack or a stroke at any moment. That's the way I see it, because
Yes.
it's been in my family. I know our family suffers with heart disease in our family, unfortunately.
Yes. I think just about everyone knows someone is suffering with heart disease one way or
Yeah,
the other. So and that shouldn't be, unfortunately, so we definitely have to take better care of ourselves.
yeah.
And that's something like what you're talking about could definitely help save some lives. So I think you should definitely go for it.
Let me go on and reach out to them and tell them, okay, look, I have a good idea now. I'm gonna need my money up front.
Yeah, you better do that, especially what's going on right now. You better ask for it up front.
Like, I would prefer cash.
I
No.
would prefer cash, or you can
Yes.
Zelle it to me. But I can't. I do not accept Trump dollars or Bitcoin or whatever. What is it called? Um,
The
the
meme
no, what's the
thing,
cyber the coins that they're trying to
the cryptocurrency.
cryptocurrency. I don't accept cryptocurrency at all. So I need some real dollars in my hands.
That's
But
right.
yeah, I think that I love that you come up here and you share this with us, Bunny, because it's so needed. But I interrupted you. I don't know. Keep going. Keep going. I just had to think
No,
about that.
that's okay, because actually that's a good idea. So at least you said it here with us, so we know if this actually happens and they don't do right, we gonna come for them. We're gonna come for them. That's for sure. Um, but yeah, so I enjoy talking about this too and teaching like ways to help on so many different areas when it comes down to our community, because we definitely need the information. So Black Maternity Health Week was actually the April 11th through the 17th. And that is something that has been happening a lot when it comes down to Black women. It basically refers to the physical and mental health of Black women during pregnancy and childbirth and postpartum period.
Mhm.
Um, it's actually become a very critical public health issue due to significant disparities in our health outcomes. So, Black women are basically 2.6 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy related complications than white women. And I'm going to repeat that again because that's how serious this is. 2.6 to 4 times more likely to die from pregnancy related complications than white women. More than 80% of maternal deaths in the US are preventable. Okay. So anything from higher rates of preeclampsia, eclampsia, postpartum hemorrhage, cardiomyopathy are observed among Black mothers. This is what Black mothers are observing.
Mm.
Now, this should not be something happening in our community. It's just, I mean, anything from chronic conditions like hypertension, diabetes, obesity are more prevalent, as we just talked about, among Black women when it comes down when they're pregnant. And
Mm.
that disturbs me greatly because a woman, having a child is one of the best times of your life. And to have to end up with these type of situations is not good.
It's not. It's heartbreaking, actually. Going in and having a child, and you really want the best, and you're hoping that these doctors and nurses are looking out for your best interest. That's why you should always get your prenatal care. Don't
Yes.
skip that, ladies. It's very important. And your doctor needs to see you and monitor you so that they can see if something's wrong with you or the baby. And then even when you go into labor, my mother always told me that having a baby is the closest thing to uh, passing without actually passing. So
Mm,
it
that's
is.
powerful.
You're giving a life, and you're at the cusp of giving a life. And it's very easy for women to pass when having a baby. It shouldn't be that way.
No.
It should not. But
I'm sorry, Gail.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say in my experience, I was one of those women that had preeclampsia when I delivered my daughter. So I was lucky because early my midwife was able to detect. I had a midwife. I had a team of midwives, and to this day, my daughter is 17. I recommend anybody who is delivering, you get with a team of midwives. It's a special kind of love they give to us as pregnant, and sometimes, especially first time mothers. It's a special type of love that they show a group of women. It's a little bit more intimate because my experience, like all these, when I first went in, I had a male physician, and he was not. I can tell it was not going to work from the very first day of the ultrasound. I said, "Oh no," it was just a different feel. So when I got with the team of midwives, and they took good care of me, preeclampsia is serious. So I had to be hospitalized a week before I delivered my daughter. So.
Wow.
It's tough. And we go through this. It's very common. Now, the more I talk, hear about it, the more people like, yeah, I had to go through that too, So.
I did with Jordan.
Yeah,
That's why
common.
My son is my last child. I went in the hospital December 16th, and I left the hospital April 1st.
Ooh, wow. Are you serious?
As a heart attack.
Wow.
Now mine wasn't that long. I went in for just a
regular
appointment, and they kept me.
No, I was. They did something called a stitch, and they gave him steroids, and he came out, and I didn't hear him crying, baby. I was terrified, and my mother was there. It was a very intimate, scary. That was the scariest thing I've ever been in my life. I was terrified for myself and for him. They lost me on the table, and they brought me back. It was not. Yeah, it was not and I could never have any more kids. So
that's traumatizing.
Yeah, it is very traumatizing.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, go to your doctor. Having a baby, you're giving life, and there's a lot of women that don't make it out, and I'm still here. Thanks, by the grace of God. It wasn't my time, but it's scary, and it is very common actually. That's the scariest part. Preeclampsia is common.
It is.
And you would think that it's not, but you would think that it's not, but
yeah, you would think so. And a lot of what's happening when it comes down to Black maternal health is actually bias and racism in healthcare.
Yeah.
Okay, that's basically what it boils down to. When you mention about making sure you do your prenatal, a lot of times it's lack of access to quality prenatal and postpartum care.
Absolutely.
There's a higher rate of stress and trauma that we deal with, and a lot of times we don't have the resources to handle it. Okay,
yeah.
so
T-Wiz the same thing. T-Wiz had it as well, preeclampsia, and her doctor recommended not that she never have, because once you have that, once you have preeclampsia, your next child, what it is you're not able to actually hold your baby in the sac, so it just puts you and your child in danger. So they recommend that you not have another child after that. I was okay with that. I didn't want any more.
Well, after that trauma that you experienced, I can understand. That's
it was terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah. But both of you guys.
Mine was the blood pressure was out of control. They couldn't control it.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know why mine happened.
Mine was out of control. They could not. So they didn't want me to move. I was on bed rest. They were like,
complete bed rest.
don't move.
I couldn't even get up and go to the restroom. That's the hard
Yeah, it
part.
was awful.
Complete bed rest, yes.
So I
Because
was,
you
look,
can't
I
get up
was one of those
on your back.
one and done, you know,
Mm-hmm.
scared straight.
That yeah.
Not scared straight.
Scared
She
straight.
said scared straight. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing with this here with the maternal Black maternal health. It's like, again, you guys are mentioning this to everyone right now, but there's not a lot of information
Yeah.
for other women, and they're dealing with these type of things, right? And they're not getting the prenatal or postpartum care. We have a higher rates of stress and trauma. You both had experienced trauma from what happened, right? So we don't have that, and that's coming from a lot of income, housing, education. People are not sure what to do. So this is something is so common and so regular that it's really sad. But
Yeah,
the
it
key
is.
hope, yeah, it really is. It bothers me, and but the key is definitely as much as you can, you know, uh, seek information, get regular prenatal care, early screenings to make sure for any kind of risks that we're possibly even talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Another good thing is if you guys can get a doula, a
Yeah.
qualified doula. That's someone who can be with you throughout the whole pregnancy and knows what's going on when it comes down to different signs and symptoms. So having a qualified doula, or like Miss Morningstar said, a midwife,
Mm-hmm.
because that's going to be your support community. That's going to be a support community. Um, and then there are other things out there like the Black Mamas Matter Alliance. So you can write that down. Black Mamas Matter Alliance, or Sister Song
Mm-hmm.
Maternal Health Support. I'm sorry, mental health support. I'm sorry. That's out there. Is there that? Of course, that's for people who are dealing with, postpartum, and help to educate them during that time, because of course that affects any woman, of course, but we tend to have a higher rate of that. So we want to reach out to those type of support systems so that we can
Absolutely.
definitely, yeah, so we can definitely, get the education that we need, know the warning signs and our rights as women, especially women of color.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's
So
so many young ladies over these last few years when they started messing with our maternal care and saying, women, we don't have a right to control our bodies. There's so many young ladies who have succumbed to this, you know, administration and their
mhm,
rules and their thought process, a bunch of men telling women what they can and can't do with their bodies. And there are ladies who have passed giving birth or having miscarriages. And it's just,
yeah.
it's very frustrating. But we want our listeners to take away, what you can do to try and help yourself, that self-help. And that is, reaching out, getting the care that you need, even if you have to, and in some instances, we have young ladies who are pregnant. They didn't, it could have, who knows what the situation could have been, but
Mhm,
they're pregnant and now, they have to tell their parents or guardians, speak
mhm,
up, don't hide it, because you are, regardless of how you want to look at it, you have a life growing inside of you. It's not going to go away. And it's
mhm,
very important that you speak with an adult so that you can get to a doctor. Yes, they have in most states done away with abortion.
mhm,
However, you still need prenatal care. And adoption is always an option. And even if you give your baby, and I'm speaking to moms who, aren't ready for a baby now, even if you give your baby to a loving family, just be careful. It's really a slippery slope now that we're living in,
Yes,
unfortunately.
it's true. And because we definitely have a lot of, again, because of our sometimes, underrepresentation when it comes down to this type of thing and lack of information. And then when a woman experiences postpartum, there's not a lot of education for women of color. And we tend to experience that a lot.
Yes.
And I just saw something that was so sad where I don't know if you guys have seen it. I don't know, I'm not sure where it was located, but the mom, she had called the 911 and she said, "Come and get my baby because I just killed her." And
Oh,
I just and they when they showed her daughter,
oh.
she was only like, I think she was like 1 or 2 years old. She was the cutest thing. And I just when I heard that story, actually I heard the 911 call,
Mm-mm,
guys.
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
I heard the 911 call.
Bunny,
And
that,
my,
oh,
I
that
know
hurts. That hurts.
that hurts. That hurts when she said that. And and it's unfortunate, but I don't know her circumstances as far as like, where she lived or was she having problems with money. But one thing we do know that they mentioned was that she had some mental disorders, and you know she
That's
just
when the
didn't know.
family. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just gonna say it in my life, in my viewpoint, and
Hmm.
my view may be different from others, but that's when the family has to step in. When you know that a person is not capable of taking care of a child, please don't leave that child with the, oh well,
But
that's their mama.
the sad part though, Kitty, is not everybody has family.
I know.
That's the
Some
thing.
people
Yeah.
are, some women are out here in this world alone.
Yep.
And the way that this world is now, forcing pregnancy on these young ladies or these women who are not mentally capable of raising or taking care of a baby. A
Yeah.
baby does not know how to communicate without unless they cry. They
Yeah.
don't know how to do anything else. A 1 and 2 year old, they're babies.
They're
They
babies.
still react to by crying. And if you already are mentally unstable, with a lot of people who don't have family, they just have, they give them, let them take the baby and just push them out the hospital. Good
Hmm.
Yeah,
luck.
because they just want them to
They
have the
just
baby,
want a number. They
a
want to just
number. And
count a
it's just
number.
sad. And
And that's just awful
it is
because
awful and it's heartbreaking.
there's nobody to save the kids.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
It's
that
up to
just
us to step it up, though. Like I said, if you're in the position, but you're right, Miss Morningstar, there are so many people who aren't.
who
They
don't have
really aren't.
families. I
Yeah.
hear it all the time. I don't have nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
hard. That's hard. I tell folks, find you a village, and it's easier said than done.
Every blood member, that you don't need to be blood related to be family. Just
That's
know that.
right.
That's
Because we're
right.
sisters
So
right here. We
yeah.
That's
got about
right.
another minute left. Gail, our sister Bunny, thank you so much for coming up. You always
Sure.
bring us so much knowledge, and it's so helpful for the community. I hope our listeners took something away from what we've learned today in regards to diabetes, and not just took it away, but apply it in your everyday life. Thank you, sis. We appreciate you. Any last words before we end?
Yeah, just one, a few things real quickly. Good nutrition during pregnancy can significantly improve your outcome. So make sure you have key nutrients like folic acid. You want to make sure, again, leafy greens, your beans. Take your iron if you need it in case you're anemic. Sometimes you definitely have to have red meat sometimes, but don't, be careful on the size of that. Spinach, lentils, all the good things that you need to have, omega 3s for brain development for your child, flax seeds, walnuts. all of these good things that you hear me talk about. And don't forget your water. Make sure you drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day to keep you healthy during your pregnancy. And that also helps for after too, to help ward off the postpartum. So
thank you so much, Bunny. We appreciate you. Any last words, Miss Morningstar? Go ahead.
I was on mute. Everybody, just have a great evening, or a great morning, rather.
Absolutely.
Great week.
You're listening to WKRA 92.7 The Change. Have a wonderful week. Happy Monday. Enjoy today, folks. We'll see you again tomorrow. Hey, y'all. It's DJ Kitty.
And Miss Morningstar.
We are here from Our Plugs, the Community Connection, and we will be your new morning host on WKRA 92.7 The Change.
Yes, we will be broadcasting Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time.
We'll also be streaming on YouTube at Our Plugs LLC.
Be sure to tune in.